the pain like.
Hey guys, Jaehyun here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a topic that has been bothering me a lot lately, and hopefully this video will resonate with fans who are also fed up with this behaviour, so we can have a big ol' rant together in the comments. We are going to be discussing the mistreatment of English-speaking idols by Western audiences. Before we start, I do want to acknowledge the fact that all idols, regardless of what languages they speak, have unfortunately come across these sorts of rude fans. Today we are going to be discussing just specifically the way English-speaking idols are treated differently by looking at some examples, and I'm afraid we have a lot recently. Before we get into some of these examples, I will first elaborate on the sorts of behaviours I am so sick of seeing with the help of soloist Alexa. In a recent live stream that she did, Alexa had a very good point to make regarding the treatment of English-speaking idols by English-speaking fans as follows.
What I don't understand is why I get asked, not just me, but other English-speaking idols too, because you realize there's a community of us. Most of us know each other. Why we get asked certain questions? Is it because we speak English? Like, if we didn't speak English, would you be asking us these things? Like, not everything is bad, obviously. Like, we enjoy humor, you know? Funny things are funny, but when it comes to certain things, it's like, why are you asking this? You know, is it because we speak English? I understand it comes from a place of wanting to connect with us, because, you know, we love connecting with fans as well. But, like, when it comes to certain questions, it's kind of like, would you ask that to somebody who doesn't speak English, you know, to an idol who doesn't speak English? Would you ask that same question?
So basically what Alexa is saying is that there are unfortunately some fans who take English-speaking idols for granted by asking them sorts of inappropriate questions in English that, when you think about it, they probably would never ask an idol who only speaks Korean. And as much as they love being able to help bridge the gap between Western fans and their favourite idols overseas by using their English-speaking abilities, this puts idols such as herself in an uncomfortable position when they are faced with these sorts of questions that they don't really know how to answer or behaviour that they don't know how to address in English. I would love to believe that this doesn't happen that often. I'm sure a lot of us would never think of speaking to an idol disrespectfully in any language, but unfortunately Alexa is right, and only recently I have seen multiple examples of these sorts of situations that Alexa is referring to. I have tried to ignore them, and at first I was just thinking, oh, it's just one of those people who call themselves a fan and are anything but then we had more examples and more and more. Although in Alexa's live she was specifically referring to the sorts of questions English-speaking idols get on live, I do have some examples to back up Alexa's point of just places where English-speaking fans have been out here treating English-speaking idols differently. First up, Mark Lee versus that fan. If you are lurking on Stan Twitter as often as I myself am, or Stan X, I'm not calling it X, that's just stupid, then you will have potentially seen some of these videos from the virtual fan signs that idols do. I love the idea of a virtual fan sign. I think it's a great opportunity for those of us who live internationally to experience a fan sign sort of event, and we may never really get to attend one otherwise, but unfortunately I have seen a couple of fan sign clips that give me secondhand embarrassment, and I think this specific example might be one of the worst. I was minding my business on Twitter the other day when a video appeared on my timeline of a supposed fan being mad at Mark from NCT on a virtual fan call because he didn't remember her from the last time they spoke. I will add a short clip here just so you can see what went down.
I think I deserve one more chance.
Actually, this is the 5th time that we met.
You're giving me no, oh my gosh.
Really?
Are you willing to give me, with that big heart of yours, are you willing to give me?
Actually, I already prepared for a plan B. I know you're gonna forget me. I know you're gonna forget me for 5 times.
Now Mark, bless him, deserves a pay rise for trying to reason with this person who is not willing to listen to him or give him another chance to redeem himself, as he says. But I don't think he needs to explain or justify himself at all. I'm trying to be reasonable and understand where the fan is coming from. It must be disheartening to spend all this money meeting your idols various times, only for them to forget you, but like, at the same time, no, I'm being too nice there. They meet hundreds of people per fan sign for like 2 minutes at a time, right? How on earth are they supposed to remember you and only you specifically? I wouldn't expect anyone who is meeting 100 people to remember only me specifically from like 2 minutes. That's just crazy. But if that's not bad enough, there were also more videos of Mark with the same fan seemingly quite mad at him for hugging other fans while he was in LA.
Did somebody like in front of me, they're talking about the things you've done in California?
Things I've done in California? What do you mean?
It's like you hugging other girls. I'm really angry about that.
Wait, I wasn't we weren't talking about that. What do you mean? Wait, yo, alright, yo, we gotta talk again next time. Alright, Ricky.
Now I'm done trying to be nice. I'm sorry. There's just no defending this fan at all here. To any idol, not just Mark, there is absolutely no difference between you and any of the other fans they have met, in a sense that they kind of see them all equally. So why would you expect him to treat you any differently from any other fans in LA? Like, if you were the fan in LA that he was hugging, you wouldn't mind. So why does it matter that he's hugging another fan? He's not your boyfriend or your property. Mark is a lovely and patient person from what I've seen in these fan calls. You can see even he is like fed up and frustrated with these sorts of conversations. And I don't blame him. And as for the fan, these fan calls are expensive and hard to get into. Some fans would die for the opportunity to spend just a couple of minutes getting to meet their idol for the first, and let's face it, potentially last time. But you instead choose to take this precious time with your faves for granted. You've given them nothing positive to remember you by. And if he now does remember you as you wish, it will only be for negative reasons. We will summarize every example we have here at the end with like a wrap up, but let's move on to another clip I also saw recently of an English speaking fan disrespecting an English speaking idol, this time involving ITZY. At their recent visit to KCON in LA, one of the segments ITZY participated in was like a question and answer session where the members were given a prompt to answer. Most of the members had finished up writing one of their answers for a question, but Yuna had asked for a couple more seconds because she hadn't finished yet, when you can clearly hear a fan yell from the audience, "Hurry up, B." I hope Yuna didn't hear it, but unfortunately somebody did. Immediately you see Yeji's head snap over in the direction of the voice, sort of in disbelief that a so-called fan would even say that, but then she turns back to the members because of course she's not allowed to really react, which annoys me as well because I think I mentioned in a video in the past, I would love if idols could call out their fans for their rotten behaviour more often, but unfortunately we're not there yet at all. There has been some argument online regarding the tone of this, and if the fan perhaps meant to say B in the way that they did and for it to come across as an insult, but one, they should never have told her to hurry up regardless. That's extremely rude and uncalled for. They had interviewers there with them whose job it is to keep the pacing of the segment and you don't have to get involved. But also too, we as Western audiences need to remember that English is not always going to be an idol's first language, so they may not be able to detect the tone in what you're saying. If there's a word that could be interpreted negatively, especially a word like this one, just don't say it. Was there any need for you to speak out and shout from the audience at her at all? There wasn't. Nobody else felt the need to do that, and most of the crowd were able to check their privilege at being able to sit in on an ITZY Q&A at all, so what entitles you to be so rude? Unfortunately, I'm not done. I have another example, and I don't even know how I'm going to approach this one without YouTube taking down my video. This is about the treatment of BLACKSWAN member Fatou during one of her lives. During a recent live, fans asked Fatou to watch a video by a creator named Kevin Leonardo, who uses the hair removal product Nair on an extremely private area of the body. Fatou, of course, had no idea what she was getting herself into when she listened to the fans in the comments who told her to watch this video. They didn't really tell her what the video was going to be about, and her shocked reaction kind of went viral because the fans thought it was so hilarious, but just a heads up, it's really not.
Nair. Oh, it comes up. Nair video.
A little bit more talkative.
What,
Okay, I'm just gonna
what
like
about
zoom in
it
because
is
like
so...
it's been 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh!
What the fuck? I do not know. Oh, what is that? Oh my god, bruh. Really? Really?
You can just tell how surprised she was. And if you want to get into it, instructing somebody to watch content of this form that is a lot more intimate without any prior knowledge of what they're getting into, that could technically be classed as a form of harassment because she could not exactly consent to be watching something like this when it involves a private, intimate area of the body. And in order to get her to watch that video, she was led into a false sense of security by the fans. Even if the fans didn't mean any harm by it, it was not at all fair that Fatou was put in this position just because she was able to understand the fans' request to watch this video. Okay, one more example for us to look at, again, that I need to tread over carefully, not for the same reasons as a previous point, but because this is technically the start of what will be a criminal investigation that SM Entertainment are currently still gathering all their evidence for, and I want no involvement with that. Again, my fellow Stan Twitter users may have seen this one, and that is the story of the NCT fan who broke into Jaehyun's hotel room. I know Saesang K-pop fans have existed since the dawn of time, but their actions never fail to shock me. Like, when I think they're gone, they always seem to just just be coming back. NCT were on their tour in America in October 2022 when it appeared that a fan had entered one of the members' hotel rooms and taken some videos, which they shared online with a caption about how they had to get in and out quickly. From their live stream content at the time, fans were able to decipher that the hotel room that had been trespassed was that of Jaehyun. I won't share any of the clips. I believe they have been taken down, and SM are seriously looking at legal action against those who had distributed them, thank God. But I don't even need to explain how many kinds of illegal this is. The quote-unquote fan, if we can even call them that, are claiming that they were given a room key to his room, but even if they were, that doesn't make this situation any better. To invade his personal space and then post clips to social media, that is such an unbelievable infringement of his privacy, but more importantly, his safety. I know this isn't exactly a situation where a fan has spoken to an English-speaking idol with disrespect, but I had to include this one because I think the action itself is a whole nother level of disrespect. Have the audacity to enter a celebrity's private space and then share it with the world just because they are paying us a visit in the West. SM have released a statement saying the video is an illegal act that seriously infringes on the privacy of the artist, and the company is collecting data on the first person who uploaded it and all those who redistributed it. And I'm really glad they are taking any actions necessary, but it does still bring us back to the topic of why do fans feel like they can do these sorts of things with either idols who speak English or idols when they are visiting us in the West. And it's all down to a sense of entitlement. As a Western K-pop fan myself, I'm very familiar with the feeling of being extremely far removed from my favorite K-pop artists and like their daily activities. We don't get to see them promoting our music shows, we don't get to visit physical fan signs, and concerts are quite a rarity for us. But the difference between fans like us and the disrespectful fans in the West is that when an idol is in my space, aka my country, or speaking to me on a live or in a virtual fan sign, I feel unbelievably grateful because they don't have to do that. Just to circle back to Alexa's live that inspired this video really, she made a great point when she said if they wanted to, English-speaking idols could just do lives in Korean to save themselves the hassle they get when they speak English and getting called cringy or being treated rudely in the comments. But they don't, because they enjoy being able to use their English abilities to connect with fans all around the world. And when they speak to us in English, it comes from a positive place of genuinely wanting us to feel included.
Because it's like you realize, those of us that speak English, we can also speak Korean, and we could just choose to do our lives in Korean and not speak English, you know? We could choose to do that, but we don't because we want to interact with our international fans.
And what's the thanks they get? Inappropriate questions, they get spoken to like a dog when they fly all the way to America to appear at a K-pop festival, they get their private spaces invaded when they fly over to the States. It's just crazy. And the main reason Western fans do these things, specifically to English-speaking idols, is because they feel a sense of accessibility to idols who speak English. But just because they are able to communicate more with you in your language than perhaps a Korean-only speaking idol could, that doesn't then give you the right to cross clear boundaries in the idol-to-fan relationship that are there for a reason, and it's to protect everyone involved. An idol who speaks English or comes to our country isn't suddenly our friend or any less of an untouchable figure. They're still a celebrity, they're still an artist, and you're still a fan of them who admires them. I know it sounds like I'm sort of just stating the obvious, because all idols should be respected regardless of what language they speak, but it really does almost feel as if some fans forget that K-pop idols who speak English are still K-pop idols, and they should still be treated with respect as well. It's such a shame because there's so many of us who are genuinely grateful that we have idols who are going that extra mile for us when they don't need to. And it goes without saying that I obviously don't think any of the types of fans we have discussed today in this video are a majority. There's a lot of fans who really do respect their artists overseas, and I just never want idols to think that the majority of us aren't extremely thankful that they are trying to involve us in their lives, in fan signs, etc. Okay, let's wrap things up here because I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this topic in the comments below. Have you also noticed a sort of entitlement from some Western fans when it comes to English-speaking K-pop idols? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video if you got this far. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell. That should let you be the first to hear whenever I upload. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!